Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of BS Drunk Movie Reviews. This is a weekly podcast, and we do upload the video version onto our YouTube channel. So you can go ahead and check that out over there. My name is Matt, and as always, I am being joined by my sister Vetta.
Hi.
Hey, what's up? On this episode, we are going to be discussing the movie Exit Wounds, starring Steven Seagal. And yeah, so good. But before we get started on our review, guys, Vetta, what are you drinking tonight?
It's more like, what aren't I drinking?
Ain't that the truth? I'm not
I am
drinking
doing I'm doing a ginger ale and gin. There we go.
Oh, right on.
The words I'm looking
I was gonna
for.
say whatever it is, it's too much because you don't even remember. I'm drinking wine. I know, surprise, but
Someday
listen,
he'll try something new.
I do want to try stuff new, but it's like I have to put effort into it, and I don't have time for that bullshit. Like I gotta look.
I know there's like a beer of the month club and a wine of the month club. I wish there was a cocktail of the month club because I would get that for you
for sure. That would be fun. My problem with this, but my problem with that is just like I got to get all the ingredients and like I got kids, so I got to leave the house and get that ingredients. I'm like, I don't know, it's just a lot of effort. So, and wine is not. I just grab the bottle and I'm good and everything. So. All right. So Vetta, what this movie is Exit Wounds with Steven Seagal. What was the first thing you thought going into this movie?
I was excited because I don't know about you, but like when I was a kid, I remember all the Steven Seagal movies, the Jean-Claude Van Damme, like those were like the great action movies. And they were always good, and you were always, good versus evil, little martial arts in there. It was just fun for all.
Well, this movie had some martial arts in it. We're gonna talk about that. Yeah, I agree. I'm the same way. That's why I picked this movie. This movie, this movie's so good because it's bad, but it's so bad it's good. All right, well, why don't we go ahead and get into it? So I want to right off the bat, I want to talk about the first 10 minutes. Okay, within the first 10 minutes, he saves the vice president of the United States
with a gun that has unlimited bullets in it.
Oh my God, he has a pistol that's like krr, krr.
Unlimited bullets. It never runs out, nor does he grab anybody else's gun.
Right. And I told myself, okay, so they get on I love that it takes place in Detroit. I love it. And because Detroit's such a piece of shit. I live in Michigan, and Vetta, you grew up here.
I grew up there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Detroit is such a piece of shit. Anyways, so I love that the Secret Service, no one knows how to shoot in this movie except for Steven Seagal.
Right.
Because he kills everybody. And does anybody not know how to use brakes on their motorcycle? Because they just let everybody shoot them when they're on that bridge. I'm just like,
and explain to me why the bad guy's helicopter is bright red and has a smiley face and says "have a good day" on it. That's not being conspicuous. I would think as a bad guy, you would want to kind of be conspicuous and not just stand out.
Right. I also, real quick, I have a question for you. When have you not seen Steven Seagal look 40? He always looks 40.
So yeah, you could look at that two different ways. He's either got good genetics that he just doesn't age, or you go, he's got bad genetics and he aged really young.
Right on. Yeah. So that first 10 minutes after he saves the vice president, I'm like, where do you go from here? He just saved the vice president. The only step up is to save the president.
But nobody wants to give him credit for it. His chief is pissed off. The head of all the police officers, the Secret Service is pissed off because they said no one's to come on the bridge. And I'm like, were you involved in this? Because why wouldn't you want his help?
Right. Yeah, no,
Makes
I
no
wrote down, I
sense.
was like, I love how the chief moves him to the worst precinct in Detroit because he did a bad job saving the vice president. What? What's going on? He's like,
Because he didn't follow directions.
yeah,
They said, don't
yeah.
go on the bridge. And he went on.
Right. And I also wrote down, sorry, my notes are a mess and everything, but I also like how this movie is about how Steven Seagal's character fights the mob and corruption in the police force. Isn't that every Steven Seagal movie? Like,
There's always somebody's corrupt.
Except for the one on the train.
Everybody.
The train's the only one that didn't happen on. Whatever that train movie was. I also wrote down that this has action that feels like a 90s action movie, not like a 2001 movie when this was created. I was just like, oh, whoever. I also wrote down like I feel like this movie should have been directed by Michael Bay, but because I'm all like, this whoever directed this is totally stuck in the 90s, like just explosions and crazy fight sequences, which I want to talk about. But
no,
yeah,
you know what happened is that the director was a huge Steven Seagal fan and was like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So let's just do what you did in all your others.
Okay, so all right. Can we talk about the anger management sequence?
Because this is the happiest face. You'd be lucky. As happy as me.
Yeah, this is the happiest. Like he broke the top of the desk because he couldn't get out of it. I was like, what? This is not a thing. Like
just slide sideways, buddy. You don't stand straight up.
I think Steven Seagal is retarded. He doesn't know how to use a desk. Like oh, by the way, by retarded I mean like what Disneyland, in case there was any like confusion. So just so you know, I know, offensive. Fuck off. Anyways, I also the talk show host that Steve Arnold is on. Tom Arnold. This is crazy, this talk show, which I just want to say also, when I was younger and I thought Tom Arnold was like a big deal, he not so much. I was wrong. He was not a big deal, never been a big deal, but I thought he was for some reason. I don't know why, but the talk show host, that talk show that he was on was crazy, and I want to talk about that a little bit later, especially those end credits, the end credit sequence. Oh my god, it's so crazy. Okay. Why don't we get into our, hold on, I have okay. Why don't we talk about our likes and dislikes? What's the first thing on your likes list?
It's Tom Arnold's character.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Well, because I did like the quote that I gave you. This is a happy face.
This is a happy face.
Be as happy as me. But I just love that Tom Arnold in a main anger management class because of his, talk show that he has. But then when he comes outside and sees that people are breaking into, Steven Seagal's car, he's like, yeah, I don't know him. It's not our class. Kick his ass,
Right on.
And then you find out later that the whole time he's been in the anger management class isn't because he's fighting people. It's because he's hiring strippers to beat the shit out of him.
Yeah. So that's so funny. Yeah, no, so good. The first thing on my list was the Matrix style fight sequences. Okay. When he comes out of that anger management class and he's fighting those dudes breaking into his trucks, he literally like drops down, puts his hand on the ground with one hand, and then flips back up like fucking Neo and then starts fighting again. And how many times is he going to break someone's kneecap in this movie?
Can you explain to me too why they only come at him one at a time? When you outnumber somebody 6-1, all 6 of you attack him at once. He can't take you all down.
Right on. And then like when he's fighting in the nightclub, And then he's fighting that bouncer, and then the bouncer throws him against those chains, and he literally bounces off the
back.
chains. And I'm like,
Like
that's
he's
not
in a
how.
WWE.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he comes
I
off
just,
the rope.
yeah, I just want to be like, that's not how chains work, you guys. Like that's you don't bounce off them. And then that same fight sequences. Okay, so that bouncer, he punches him, and while he's floating in the air, he punches him in the nutsack, and he flies backwards into that little paint stall holding those strippers. And I'm all like, what is going on here? This is insane. Are we in the Matrix right now? He was floating, like literally floating. So good, so good, so good. All right, what's the next thing on your like list?
So the next thing on my like list is TK, Anthony Anderson.
Oh, yeah, I know, right?
It's just so amazing. Like in the car dealership, in the club. I mean, everything at the end when he takes up being Tom Arnold's co-host.
Oh my gosh.
Everything about him is
So
great.
good.
So good.
Can we talk about that car buying sequence? Okay. When he is buying that car, and he first off, he gets in, he's like, I'm taking this one, so start up the paperwork. I'm like, that's not how buying a car works. They need to check your credit, asshole. Just because you bought
He's paying cash.
what's that got to do with anything? Just because you're paying
I
cash.
don't know.
They can't just
also just throw the bag and drive away. No, there's paperwork. It's got to be registered.
Yeah, I was like, that's not how buying a car works. That's not, these people have never bought a car before. They think that,
no, because they're criminals, so they probably stole them. But yeah, you just don't throw the money at them and then drive away.
Yeah, no, like I was just so good, so good. I really only had the Matrix style fighting on my like list. I have other things I want to talk about, but did you have anything else on your like list?
No, I just really had just TK, legitimately.
Did you have anything on your dislike list? Because I have two things.
I had the fact that I just didn't like that Steven Seagal has no facial expressions at all.
That's called bad acting.
There's just no facial expressions. Like, not when he's fighting, not when he's telling a joke, not when he's nothing.
Well, this is a happy face.
You only wish you were this happy.
Yeah. I wrote down Steven Seagal is a bad cop. Like, he's just a bad cop. Like, he
does not follow procedure at all.
Sure, he saved the vice president, and I love how everything just falls into his lap. Like, he's just magically driving around and he finds a drug deal because he sees the yellow Jeep.
No. In the beginning, he doesn't just drive around and run into that. In the beginning, he sees the two cops pass the explosives that they slap on the back of the cars. He sees them exchanging them
with the yellow Hummer.
Oh no, I thought you said the yellow like bakery truck.
No, I was like, so no, with the yellow Hummer guy, he's just after he gets sent to the shitty precinct. Which I want to talk about the captain and everything. That dinner was great. Like, you said you wanted to talk to me. Yeah, at the office, he's like, yeah, we're kind of having a moment. Like, I'm all like, I would not have gotten up. I'd have been like, fuck you, dude. I don't care fuck you, Steven Seagal. So I was just like, he's a bad cop. I was like, he's just a bad cop. And then I also
he threw the vice president off the bridge and he can't swim.
Oh, in the shallowest of rivers. Like,
from the tallest bridge ever.
And he's like, I can't swim. And I'm like, you don't need to, you're about to die. Like, like, just don't dive because you're something. And his face getting out, he's like, yeah. I was just like, that's like, I was like, I can see rocks at the bottom of that.
I was like, either those are some very large rocks or that's gonna hit quick to the bottom.
Well, I was just like, I know they think that's a river. I think it's more like a creek because like I literally was just like, I can see the rocks. He's gonna die.
I was like, those are some big ass rocks.
And I love how they pulled him out of the water, and like, I'm all like, I don't even think that boat would be able to make it in that water. I think it's too shallow. I think I don't know. I don't know. I don't have a boat, so I don't know. But okay. And the other thing I had in the dislike section, but only because I didn't understand it, what was up with the taser battle in the locker room? Like they're just like,
I
I'm like,
think they were just saying to be like, I'm tougher than you are.
yeah,
I
but,
can
but that's
tase.
not how tasers work.
No.
I have YouTube. This came out in 2001. I'm all like, anybody with a brain knows that you just can't stand there with a taser being shot at your fucking chest. I was like, this is insane. I was like, I was like, good on you,
Well, most of the guys,
bro.
besides the underlings guy and Steven Skull, everybody else fell down to the fetal position. But they're the big, strong men, so they were able to withstand it.
Right on. Okay. I like it's so crazy because DMX, rest in peace, gotta rest his soul. His character is rich because he started
Rich
a company
as
called
fuck.
started a company called 999.com where everything is apparently under $10. I'm like, sounds like a lot like Five Below, but whatever, but but more expensive. Like
Hey, whatever
and
pays the bills.
and I wrote down oh, I wrote down he's a horrible parker. Like he parks in that parking lot, but he literally parks on the line. Like he parks that new car that he bought in between two spaces. And I was like, oh, he'd piss me off. I would totally park right next
You
to his
put one of
door.
those cards on his windshield that says, I see you can't stay between the line. Here,
Oh, for
practice
sure.
on
Oh my
this."
gosh. Be like, I noticed you don't know how to pull out. Maybe your mother should have, or something like that. I don't know. But and and I love how DMX is like, here, I want to show you, God rest his soul. I love how he's all like, I want to show you something. And they go in that building. He's like, apparently he's like the leader of a group trying to expose dirty cops because
He's trying to save his brother.
yeah. But oh, real quick, I want to go back. I love how, like, what did they say? 5,000 pounds of heroin was stolen from the evidence locker. I'm like, nobody noticed this. It's like so much heroin. I was like, nobody noticed this. I was like, this is a Steven Seagal movie now. There's heroin just being thrown around.
It's a party favor now,
Yeah.
so no one thinks it's a big deal when it's all stolen.
Yeah, and the guy that's the like record keeper of the thing, he's just so nonchalant about the missing heroin. I'm just like, this is your job, fuckface.
I love how he's like, what do I look like? Go check the county records.
I know,
like,
right?
You
Yeah,
literally look like you're the sign inside out guy. You should know.
It's exactly, yeah, he is. I was just like, oh well, somebody's getting fired for not doing their job.
That's my favorite too. Is Steven Seagal gets moved to a shitty ass precinct for saving the vice president. This guy lets someone walk out of the evidence locker with pounds of heroin, and he gets a raise.
Right? It's like, yeah, it's like so much heroin. Okay, so I love. Okay, so when he goes into this, amazing group of people bringing down dirty cops, I love how Eva Mendez's character. So she shows him first off the cameras. I love the cameras because like we have the smallest cameras in the world. I was like, not now. There's way smaller ones. But she's like, you're the star of some of them. Okay. And then they show him the footage from the main bad guy, Spawn.
Yep.
But it's not in a POV kind of setting. It's as if somebody else was recording the video.
But she was there, remember? And she had the purse.
Oh, I don't remember her there.
Yeah, she was there because when he is handcuffing TK to the grill of his truck.
Oh, see,
she walks up and says something, and she's carrying the purse that was sitting on the table.
Okay, I remember that part. But was she in the room when he does the swivel chair thing and he turns around? I was like, I always wanted to say that. Is she in the room? Because
no.
Okay, so because that's what I'm talking about. Because she shows him that scene, and I'm all like, this is like as if it's not the doctor from Grey's Anatomy, but as in it's somebody else. And I'm all like, it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. Hold on, I have one. Okay. at the end of the movie, how is DMX, God rest his soul, not being held for questioning? I mean, he literally killed people, cops in general, and he spent drug money on cars. Like, I'm just like, how do you not hold him to question him? He's a integral part of this
Because he
investigation.
helped Steven Seagal.
Yeah, but he can't. Yeah, but he just like walks off in the wind with that woman, and I'm all like,
and the chief of police says to him, "I've had your brother move for his protection."
Then you mean the new chief of police? Because the old one was like, he gave up Steven Seagal in a heartbeat. He's like, fuck you.
Yeah. Well, one's the police chief, and one's the like, I don't know, like higher up than that. I just don't know which.
Oh, okay. So, the part where DMX, God rest his soul, is like being drenched in water. Like, yeah, I was like, I was like, are we about to fuck? Because I'm ready to fuck.
See, and I was like, is this Flashdance? Is he gonna get a chair?
I was ready for it to be like, my body telling me yeah.
Oh, that's a good movie. I haven't seen that.
Right. Yeah, I was just like, as soon as he was all like, oh, and everything, I was like, is there gonna be fucking going on? Because I was like, this is very sexual, like very sexual. So gosh, I loved this movie, but it was so bad. Is there anything else that you want to say about this movie?
The ammo expenditure in this movie is insane.
It's so
These
crazy.
are guns that like defy everything.
Right on.
They have infinite ammo.
Yeah, it's that's so true. That's so true. And I just love how he's got like a handgun. He's like, like it's a machine gun. I'm all like, I don't.
Oh, didn't you love at the end with DMX when he tied his belt to the shotgun and he kept throwing it up?
Oh my god, yeah, the shotgun gun. Yeah, I love how. Yeah, right. And I love how there was no kickback whatsoever. It just went up and then came down. I was like, that's not how physics works. I mean, I'm not a genius, but I know how this works.
He'd just do the little and then he'd wait for the next person to throw it up and pull back down.
Yeah, no.
That's some serious accuracy.
Yeah, for sure. So good. Yeah, this movie is firing on all cylinders of awesomeness. But yeah, it was sad. The shotgun belt. So
I'm like, I play video games and I gotta put some serious attachments on my shotgun not to get recoil. And
for sure. That's so
no
good.
recoil from a belt.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I forgot about that because then they just killed all the dirty cops. Like, I love how he shoved the one into those nails on the wall or whatever those were. Oh goodness. All right. Is there anything else that you want to say about this movie?
No, I just miss movies like this.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so why don't we go ahead and move on to our next segment, which is our questions segment. And I'll let you go first. What is your question?
So my question is, what is your favorite movie where like the fighting is martial arts?
The Matrix, which is, inspired by this movie because, I mean... When I can't tell you how much I rewound and loved the part where he like dips down, touches the ground with one hand, and then jumps back up. I was like, he's Neo, not Keanu Reeves. He's Neo. I can't.
I just love like every guy he fought, he kicks out their knee from the side.
God, yeah. I was like, now
like he needs
have to do more. Go ahead, finish your thought.
Oh, he needs surgery, months of physical therapy. That's a game changer.
Well, I was like, we should do more Steven Seagal movies to see how many kneecaps Steven Seagal is breaking.
Right? How many he's broken over his career.
We're gonna keep a tally. The next Steven Seagal movie, I'm gonna go back and tally up these ones, and then we're gonna start tallying them. That it's gonna be so good.
Someday we'll be able to say, well, in exit wounds, he only broke 7 kneecaps, but by the time he was in Under Siege, he upped it to 22.
Right on. It's so good. So good. All right. So moving on to
I didn't answer.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, listen, it happens. Okay, what was your answer? Go.
I went with the other late 80s, early 90s huge action star. I went with Double Impact with not just one, but 2 Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Oh my gosh, I love that movie so much.
I loved it so much.
Oh my gosh, I love that movie beyond because I'm a twin. Ooh, look at that. But that movie's so good because you've got the good twin who is like an aerobics instructor, but at the same time he's a karate instructor.
One in the days with the housewives and then the kids at night.
Right. Yeah. And then the other one's like a hardened criminal. And I'm like, what is going on here?
The evil twin. I just want you to feel good about yourself. He wants you to feel like you're enough.
Oh my gosh. I love that. I love that movie. I remember watching that when I was a kid, but so good. So good.
So good.
All right, we're gonna do a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie now. We have to.
We should do that one.
We should do that one. Okay. So my question for you is, what is your favorite Steven Seagal movie?
I went with Under Siege.
Oh my God, I love that. Was almost. Oh, I almost picked that one.
I love that one because I remember watching that one multiple times as a kid.
Oh, I jerked off like almost every time when that girl pops out of the cake and she's like rubbing her titties and everything. I was like, oh yeah, you rub those titties and everything. Like, and I know that sounds gross, but it's so true. It's so true. I did it. But because it was a hot scene. But yeah, no.
What was your pick?
Yeah.
Because if you pass up picking that as your favorite, if that was your reaction to just the case.
Well, I picked the movie Hard to Kill. And the reason I picked this one is okay. So this one, the reason I love this one is because he figures out who the bad guy is, because the bad guy, before he kills him at the very beginning of the movie, he kills his wife and everything, and him, I'm putting that in quotations, but he goes to a like crime deal and he overhears the main bad guy going, and you can take that to the bank. And then later on, that guy is like running for like senator or whatever, and he says that in his promos to be senator, and that's how he figures out that's the bad guy. And I'm all like, what the fuck? You can take that to the bank. People say that in real life. What's going on here? Like,
that doesn't make him a murderer.
He's just out murdering randos for saying you can take that to the bank. And I'm all,
you're standing in line and you're on the phone with your wife and you're like, well, no, you can take that to the bank. And he kills you.
Like, I'm all like, what if he had said something like, you can put that in your pipe and smoke it? Or what does that have to do with the price of tea in China?
Only in days that ends in Y.
Yeah, right? I'm all like, I'm like, who wrote this? This is the silliest plot part. So good. I love Steven Seagal movies because they make no sense, but they're so good, so good. And he goes into a coma because he gets shot, and then he gets.
And the body count is insane.
So good.
Holy.
Yeah. All right. Is there anything else you want to say about this movie?
No, but if you haven't seen a Steven Seagal movie, you should just pick one, watch it. You won't regret it.
You won't regret it. Yeah. And this is a happy face. You've never seen such a happy face. So yeah, so good. So good. All right, you guys, thank you so much for listening. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at BS Drunk Pod. That's where we update everything. And we'll also be posting this video version of this on our YouTube channel. So be sure to subscribe to us there. Our YouTube channel is BS Drunk Movie Reviews. And don't forget to drink, recap, review, and repeat. Bye, you guys.
Bye.